Alright guys, welcome back to another exciting tutorial. Fash is here and I'm so glad to be here. So in this tutorial we want to take a look at the concept behind styling. React is, if you're building a website, if you're building a web app, you should understand the concept of making it to look good, so that the look and feel of your website really matters a lot. So and how can you style React application if you're using React library. So basically we have two ways. We have the component styling and we have what is known as the global styling. So if you want to style anything, for instance, let me just launch my code right now. Let me run my application. npm start, don't forget npm start. So when you hit on enter, it's going to actually open the browser. Sorry, something is going on. npm supposed to npm start. Sorry, that's why we're having that kind of error. It's npm start. So it's going to load and actually launch our application for us. So this is where I would like to start my explanation from. Okay, so right now our application is actually loading. So while it is loading, let me quickly tell you what is global styling and what is component styling. So anytime you log into this place, you will notice that you have two things you have in there. So you have the app.css, you have the app.js, which is the app.js and app.css. For every of our components, majority of them will have, you might need to style them in the component, style the component. So anytime you have a name, sorry, it's loading fine. So anytime you have a name, let me just make it a little bit easy on us. Okay, let me just make it like this so that you will be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, see, anytime, sorry, I have to make it like this, I have to make it like this. Can we see it right now? Okay, good. So now, excuse me, so anytime you have your component, app.js is the root component, right? So and you have another file that is the name of that component, but the extension is .css. That simply means that particular file is the CSS of the component. So this is the way to style. You can see by the time you double click on it, you will see something real quick. You will see that the app.header, which is in air, that has a background color of 282C34, minimum height and display flex direction. You can actually see it, the class name in there. You can see .app-header. Whenever you want to style using what class, you use dot. Okay, so by the time you now come straight down there, you will notice that you have that app.header here. See this app.header that you have the class name in there is what you're seeing in the app.header. App-header. Can you now see? So that means this particular styling, if I should decide to remove all this, let me show you something. You're going to see the side is going to be awful right now. Let me just cut it and press Ctrl S. All right, and let's go back to our application and let's see exactly how it's going to look like the moment this thing completes compiling. All right, let's go back. You can see how it looks like because we have successfully removed the entire word styling. So I have to go back again, and press Ctrl Z, press Ctrl S back. It's going to load for some few seconds by compiling. By the time you go back, you can see it's live. So this is component styling, styling your component with the same name but different extension. Just take it like that. All right, so by the time you want to style anything publicly, let's say you want that particular styling to be available for every of your components. You don't want to be a component based. That is what is called global styling. And global styling, you can easily see it. Let me show you right now. You can easily see it right in index.js. You can see index.css. So this index.css is the global word styling. Okay, so if you want to style anything and you put it inside index.css, that is our global styling. So that's exactly what I want you to understand: component styling and global styling. So as we move on in this tutorial, we're going to be styling based on our component, and sometimes you might decide that okay, we want some style to be available for all of our components. So if you want that means it's going to be what's global. So but if you want to style particularly using your components, you want that particular styling to be specific for your component, that is component styling. So that is the two major styling that we have. As we move on in this tutorial, by the time you start making use of it, you will enjoy it more. Like I said, this is what majority of YouTubers are not actually explaining. They're just diving into program, into the library to start calling some stuff that you are unable to actually relate with, and you get lost. So basically this is what you need to figure out. By the time you figure this out, I will start building complex application, you'll be able to relate. All right, before I stop this tutorial, there's one thing I really want you to understand, and you should write this thing down. Please write this thing down. Components has three things. Components can contain files, components can contain templates, and components can contain functions. So components basically have three things: the file that it will contain, so that we want to be using, maybe images or something like that. And another thing is that it has a layout, so that layout is a template. And the third thing is that that component should perform a specific function. All right, by the time you understand this, you will be able to see where we are coming from. Components will have a file, will have a template, and at the same time will have a functionality. All right, this is where I'm actually going to stop for now. In the next tutorial, we're going to dive into what is known as use state. And until then, I can't wait to have you in the next tutorial. Bye.